The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Thursday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends in the top right-hand corner of the screen. You can see them right there, Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. I'm Anthony Hartwig. Thanks for topping on today on a Thursday episode. We always thank you for tuning in. We have a great show for you today. We're going to recap last night's action, of course, like we always do. We're going to preview tonight's action, like we always do. And we have a player profile for you. One of the ways that Running Point goes the extra mile is interviews with our YSN family coaches and players, and we try to highlight as many of them as humanly possible throughout the season, and we have a good one for you today. Ashley Schroeds from Southern Local on the doorstep of becoming the program's all-time leading scorer. 4 points away, was planning on doing it tonight, but we'll get to it. Unfortunately, tonight's game between Southern Local and East Palestine has been canceled, so she'll have to wait a little bit longer to get those 4 points. But you know what's going to happen. 4 points is pretty much cut and dry for her. So, not official yet, but will be the program's leading scorer very, very soon. And we had a great interview with her that we're going to play for you today. But let's start with the scoreboard. Let's go into last night's action and see what we can find happening on the YSN network last night and inside the YSN family. Our scoreboard on YSNLive.com is presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. This is a great tool for the fans, whether you're watching one of our broadcasts or maybe you're at one of our games. Either way, you don't want to look away for too long, and the YSN scoreboard is a quick and easy way to get live updated scores of your favorite teams. We have a great team behind the scenes, I'll tell you that much, working hard every night to make sure these scores get live updated. Our announcers do their job in updating the score through a chat, and then our team in the background does a great job keeping the scoreboard active. So you don't have to wait till midnight to see what the final score is. You can go on and see the live scores as updated as possible throughout the night. And awesome. YSNLive.com/scores is where you can find it. Let's go over last night's games. The biggest and the best game of the night was probably Howland versus Ursuline. 52-50. The Tigers come out on top. 4-1 Howland on a tear so far this season. Their only loss is on the road in Hoban, and that was a 7-point loss, by the way. So a loss, but a good loss. And Howland escapes Ursuline with a 2-point win. And it was thanks in large to the effort that was shown out by Alyssa Masucci. You look at the stats for this game. Masucci is off to a great start this year. 21 points for her on the night. She was 9 for 14 at the free throw line. She had a pair of threes, a couple of twos. She can just do it all on the floor. She had 21. Also in double figures for Howland was Mia Barish with 10. And then Gia Hoso contributed 7. So those are the big three for Howland, the ones that are usually scoring. And those are pretty impressive numbers for them. Jessie DeSalvo can chip in from time and time again. She had 6 last night. Ursuline lost despite the great effort put up by Lily Scott. She had a game-high 28 points on the night. Also in double figures for Ursuline was Kennedy Carpenter with 11. It was a great game between these two. But Howland does come out on top, 52-50. You look at the breakdown in the quarters. Howland outscored the Irish 12-8 in the fourth quarter, and that was the big difference maker after Ursuline won the third quarter by 5. So Ursuline had all the momentum going into the final frame, but Howland able to bounce back from that, able to absorb it, and get the win. We talk about being able to absorb things. How about West Branch? It was looking like a really good game last night in halftime. 1-point game. I believe it was 19-18 at the half. And then, boy, did West Branch say, we're done having fun tonight. We're just going to put the foot down on the pedal and just storm through the second half. 19-18 at the half. And then, like a dramatic action trailer, a 30-5 second half for West Branch leads to a blowout 49-23 victory over Salem. That's just, West Branch's defense has been good all year. They haven't let anyone score 40 points. Well, no one's really been that even close. And 19-18 at halftime, it seemed like a defensive matchup between two teams that really know how to play defense. But in the second half, West Branch's defense wasn't just good. It was near perfect. 5 points given up. And when you score 30 and a half, that's good. That's pretty good for Walter Shields. I think if his team scores 30 and a half, he's feeling pretty good. 49 points is a great, bar to aim for. But it's not like Salem's defense played awful. 49 is not a huge number to give up. It's not like West Branch was doing everything they wanted. But at the end of the day, West Branch, I think they just locked in on Riley Simons, to be honest. Riley Hutton, I'm sorry. Riley Simons. I'm still in volleyball mode. And they just locked in on Riley Hutton, honestly, and just said, someone else is going to beat us in the second half. It couldn't happen for the Quakers. And this is the first win for West Branch over Salem in 2 years. They were on a 4-game losing streak to the Quakers. And it becomes a rivalry again, because everyone will tell you rivalries are only rivalries when it's competitive. So West Branch needed to get back into the win column and call it a rivalry again. So they do that with an incredible second half performance. Obviously, Sophie Gregory did what she always does, played extremely well. Chloe Dennison countered her in the perimeter game. I've said it before, West Branch has different ways that they can beat you, which is what I think makes them so impressive, because they have someone that's pretty good at everything. They have a pretty dang good shooting core in Audrey Eaton and Chloe Dennison. Those two can shoot the lights out. They have a couple of drivers that drive the ball really well in Sophie Gregory and then Carter Shepard. Both bigger bodies that are still athletic, that can drive down the lane, do you really good. And then you have a post player in Olivia Showalter that is really dominant inside the paint. So I think as long as they stay out of foul trouble with the defense they play, and they don't put any of those players in jeopardy of not being able to contribute, especially multiple ones. Like if you lose okay, we lost Showalter, but you can post up Gregory if you have to. You can even post up Carter Shepard if you had to. Well, I saw them against Marlington use Carter Shepard a lot in the high post. So you can get her in the paint too. But I think the one thing you can't lose, you can't afford to get in foul trouble with Sophie Gregory. We've seen Sophia the last couple of years when she took over the point guard position, just control the flow of that offense. And she does a really good job doing it. Even if she's not scoring, she's setting up other people. I'll go back to that Marlington game. She only had 6 points, but she was such an impact on the offense because of the attention she draw and the ability to just find the right people. She's a good point guard. People don't talk about that enough. Like, yes, she's extremely tall. She can get pretty dang close to the rim on her vertical. She's good ball handle. All those things that you want out of a great basketball player, she has. But people don't talk about the fact that she's a good point guard. She understands the floor. She sees it really well. She distributes the ball extremely well. She's not one of those players that thinks that she has to score, 20 points for it to be a good day. Let's see that Marlington game. She scored 6. 6 points, but she set up a lot of other players for scoring. She had found Audrey Eaton plenty of times in the corner after driving. She made extra passes in the post to Olivia Showalter. So you look at Sophie Gregory and you think, well, not only is she good at basketball, all the things that you want to be, have a good basketball player, a D1 basketball player going to YSU. But point guard wise, I don't know if she'll be a point guard at YSU, but if you need her to do it, she's proven, especially this year, she's locked into that position. And she plays it really, really well, getting the ball where it needs to go, understanding what defenses are doing against them, adjusting. Great leader, just a great team in West Branch. But when you talk about them, you have to talk about Division II and what a gauntlet it's going to be this year. I mean, you look at just the district. Howland is hungry. They just won over Ursuline. You have Laurel coming back up to D2. They were D3 last year. Remember, they were just the powerhouse. They went back from D3 back up to D2. So you're probably going to have to see Laurel in the regionals. You're probably going to have to see Ashtabula St. John in the regional. Norton is very good in the regional. And then you talk about Canfield, who might be someone you see in the district. If not in the district, they'll be in the regional too. If you avoid their district, if you separate yourself and don't go to Canfield, and Canfield and West Branch are both top seeds in their respective super district, then you're going to have to see them in the regional. So Canfield's really good. Howland's really good. I doubt that though all three of them will not be in the same, we're either going to see Howland have to go through Canfield or Howland have to go through West Branch. Now, that will honestly depend on the two matchups that Howland has with Canfield on that decision on where the Tigers go. I'm sure Coach Pounce will take into the account how they matched up with them in the two games they play. I can't wait for those two matchups. We haven't even started AAC play yet, which is exciting because all these teams are off to incredible starts. You look at the way Boardman's playing, Fitch is playing, Canfield's playing, and Howland's playing. And then I'm not forgetting about Warren Harding. I know they're in there, but they're not a YSN school, so I kind of don't have them on my radar. But you see how those four teams are playing by themselves. My word, they're all playing so well. So who's going to take the next step in conference play? It's such a small conference that you have so much time in the non-conference to test yourself before it even starts. I mean, we're sitting here middle of December and we haven't seen a conference game yet in the AAC. If I had to analyze all the teams and kind of decide who the favorite is right now on what I'm seeing, I'm kind of leaning towards Canfield still. I think one of the things they do really well is they defend really well. And I think that'll be a little bit of a difference maker. Fitch is trying to get healthy, and I think they'll definitely make some noise. Howland can score. Their defense, like against Ursuline, giving up 28 to Lily Scott. This isn't knocking them, but that's something that they can't give up. But a big game to Mackenzie Riccatelli or a big game to, give up a big game to Cami Ritz or Cami Dill or any of those players. So they have to make sure their defense is squared up. So that's why I wouldn't put them in the favorite spot right now. But the AAC is definitely up for grabs. I'll tell you that much. It's definitely a conference that I can't really tell you who's going to win. And I love it because the last couple of years it's been it's Howland's. Now that one year where they had their dream season where they went to regionals, it was kind of okay. And then it was Canfield's last year. So now we're seeing really, a widespread open door AAC, and that's really fun to see. Some other scores last night. Orange Girls, they fell to Chagrin Falls. Final score there was 54-40. The first all YSN PA basketball game in the history of YSN, as we have two PA teams now, Mohawk versus Beaver Area in girls basketball. Mohawk's off to a 4-1 start on the girls' side. They had a great day. They win over Beaver Area 46-31, the final score there for Mohawk. And you look at their stats, the big player for the Warriors that has been there for the whole year, really, is 19 points from Erin Capalbo. I mean, she's been averaging double figures, 19 points for her. Then they had 9 points from Annika Young as well. 19-9. And then, after that, 9 points as well. So 2 9 points from Kira Julian and Annika Young. And then 19 points from Aaron Capalbo. For Beaver area, they were led by Ansley Baker, who had 13 points. And then 7 points contributed by Lauren Nisbella for Beaver area. So we're just excited that we have a Pennsylvania matchup that's all YSN. That's always fun. That was one of our goals, is to break into Pennsylvania a little bit more, and we're getting there. We have our foot in the door, that's for sure. We go on to boys basketball. 4 games last night. Jefferson coming off that tough loss where they scored a lot, but they allowed a lot over the weekend, where, remember, Joe DeGeorge became the record holder for most points in a game with a 45-point performance. They get right back on track, and they beat Lakeside by the final score of 68-40. Beaver area boys were in action at home while their girls were on the road, and they fell to South Fayette 66-56, the final score there. Edgewood boys win against Harvey, 61-55, the final score in that one. So the Warriors with a close win. And then last but not least, Perry was able to knock off Conneaut by a final score of 75-39. We did have wrestling, and it was a late night. This was a matchup where we saw the middle school go first. So if you were there for the varsity, you had to wait for a while. I think the varsity started a little bit after 8 o'clock, and Beaver Local made it worth the wait for them, 70-6. They're all over Boardman, as those Beavers look really good. They won their first tournament of the year over the weekend, and they go into Boardman and get a big victory over the Spartans, 70-6, the final score on the mats. That does it for our recap of the night last night. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break here on Running Point, and when we come back, we'll have that player profile for you from Southern Locals Ashley Schroeds, who, like we said before, is on the doorstep of becoming the program's leading scorer. So don't want to miss that interview. It'll be on the other end of this break on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
What can you do on over 5,000 acres? At Mill Creek Metro Parks, you can discover unique habitats and wildlife, create memorable family moments, experience history, heritage, and park programs, explore scenic landscapes, take time to relax and be well, connect with nature and each other. Come see what's new at Mill Creek Metro Parks. Plan your trip now at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means taking care of our local customers.
And it's just a great feeling to put them in a vehicle and get them all excited about a new vehicle.
At the end of the day, our goal is to be someone our customers can count on.
And every day I'll go the extra mile for the community so they can trust us.
To do anything that would convenience the customer or make them feel more at home.
Realizing, number one, that we're here for them and that we're not going to go away.
That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you as always by the people you just heard from in that commercial break. Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown, they go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. And like we said before, one of the ways we do that is to highlight the players that we have in the family, the wonderful players we have in the family. And this next one is probably one of the best, going up for the career points record at Southern Local. And she made her name known pretty quickly with that 55-point performance in her freshman season against Heartland Christian. None of us will forget that. And she has been setting a fire ever since, really, in Southern girls basketball. We will see a lot of youth players of the Southern program be wearing the traditional and the I shouldn't say traditional, the what's the word I'm looking for? The now legendary headband, I guess I'll say, of Ashley Strode. She is a role model. Everyone wants to be like her at Southern Local, and we can see why in this interview. So without further ado, please enjoy this player profile from Salineville, Southern Local's Ashley Strodes, and a senior captain as well. Anthony Hartwig here with a Southern basketball player profile. I am joined by Ashley Strodes. Ashley, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You got it. And we are at perfect timing for this because on Thursday, which is tomorrow, you're going to have a big night. You know, you're 4 points away from becoming the program's all-time leading scorer. When you think about that and you're thinking about you're so close, and obviously that's been a goal for you for a while, what's tomorrow night going to mean to you?
It's going to mean a lot to me because I set goals throughout my whole career. I started out with my 1,000 points, and that was one of my biggest goals. And then I hit that. And then now my next goal is obviously this. So this is something big for me.
I know, obviously, you'd love to do it at home. It didn't work out that way, but you're going to have a lot of support come to East Palestine for you. You're going to be able to share it with your team and share it with your support system. When that moment comes, whether it comes tomorrow night or, I mean, it's going to come. You're 4 points away. So whether it comes tomorrow night
Right.
or it comes whenever it comes, what's that going to be like to be able to celebrate with the people that you've put the work in with your teammates, and obviously your support system that will be there too?
Yeah, it's going to be a great feeling because I feel like this year with the team I have this year, I feel like they actually care about me, and they've been there through it all, through the off season. We put a lot of work in together, and Coach Grinjar, obviously, I've been through thick and thin with him. He's been one of my biggest supporters, along with my parents. So they're all going to be there to watch me, and they'll be there to cheer me on. So it's going to mean a lot.
Let's talk about that work. Obviously, you came in your freshman year, you opened the doors with a thud. I mean, we remember that 55-point performance against Heartland Christian back in your freshman season. I mean, that was kind of your introduction to what you were all about. But how do you keep getting better? I mean, it's scary for people that play you every year, but Ashley Schroeds keeps getting better. What kind of things do you think that you've changed in your game since freshman season?
I just think I have that mindset of just, you got to get better every day. Coach kind of instilled that in me. He's always like, you got to be doing something every day. You either got to be strength training, you got to be shooting, you got to be doing something every day. So I just kind of do something different every day. It's either shooting, lifting, or I do both. I'm out of the school, I don't even know, like 4 hours every day, shooting, lifting. I'm always putting in work, and you just got to strive to get better every day.
What do you think is a part of your game you've seen the most improvement of throughout your high school career?
Probably my mid-range, because freshman year, I had a lot of people tell me that I would be able to be stopped easily because all I can do is make a layup. And they also said that I couldn't use my left hand. So I kind of worked sophomore year to prove them wrong, and I started using my left hand, finishing left-handed layups. And then junior year and now senior year, my mid-range has been something that's kind of stood out compared to other players.
Man, don't tell Ashley what she can't do. She'll prove you wrong in a heartbeat. When you talk about, just going through this career, you've mentioned the goals that you've already set, 1,000 points, got the rebounds that you're able to get. And now obviously program leading scorer on the horizon. When you reflect, senior year is about reflecting on all the time and all the work and all the things that you've been able to do. Is there one that you're the most proud of, one kind of milestone, or one, even if it's a win, or one night, or one thing that you've done in your career that you're the most proud of?
Um, Honestly, probably the United game earlier this week, because that's been something that's been a goal since freshman year. I just feel like United with us, it's such a rivalry game every time we play them. So beating them for the first time my whole career felt really good. So that's been a big accomplishment for us.
You got him, and you got him off of a loss. You took that tough loss to Colombian in the game before. Talk about the mindset. What was it like coming off of the loss and trying to build right back against a team that, like you said, to that point you hadn't beaten in your career, and you dropped 27 on them, and you're able to beat them by 6. What went into preparing for that United game?
We just kind of went in there. We used the Wellsville game as kind of a game to get back into our winning streak. Columbiana was a tough loss. We were just kind of off that game. But going into United, we just knew we had to do what we had to do. We watched film. We studied their players. We know most of them because most of them are coming back, the seniors, Grace Knight and all them. We just knew how they played the game, and we knew we had to play how we play in order to beat a good team like that. And we did it.
We see you in multiple sports. Obviously, you're also a pin on the volleyball team as well. What's it like to keep yourself busy and to transition from one sport to another? And I know how much you love basketball, but when it's volleyball season, you're giving everything to volleyball. And then when it's basketball time, you're obviously locked in on basketball. What's that been like for you throughout your career?
Right. I kind of balance both of them. Like during volleyball season, I kind of never stopped doing basketball. I'm always shooting either after practice, volleyball practice, and then on game days, obviously I focused on the game itself, but I just balance both of them. It's doable. So.
And then you have to also balance schoolwork and just having a social life as a kid. What kind of things do you do time management wise, or just trying to not overwhelm yourself, just balancing everything you have to do in your life?
This year I obviously don't have to go to school, which is kind of a plus because I have all my credits to graduate. So I do online classes. So I have a little bit more free time now. But in the past, I would obviously get my work done. I'd stay after school. I'd be out there till probably 8:30 at night. And then I come home and then I just spend time with my family. They kind of took my mind off of a lot of things. They helped me through a lot. I have a great support system here at home.
So being a player that doesn't have to go to the school this year and be in the class with your teammates, what's it like to now only be able to see them in practices and games? Does that make you treasure practicing games even more because it's the only time, like in the school setting, that you're seeing your teammates and you're being able to interact with them?
Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet because my freshmen tell me all the time, they're always like, after this season, I'm not going to see you again. I'm never going to see you again. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm here now. We'll treasure these moments. I'll be back. But yeah, it's kind of bittersweet.
I love that you call them your freshmen and you've taken like almost possession of them because you're guiding them and they're under your wing this year. What kind of things are you trying to instill into the leaders of next year when you're gone and the people that are going to have to step up in your absence next year?
I just try to tell them they need to have confidence in themselves because that's kind of my freshman year. Coach kind of put me out there as the starting point guard, and I kind of had to figure it out on my own because nobody else could really handle the ball. So I kind of had to step up, not willingly, but I did it. So I just kind of tell them they have to have confidence in themselves. They just need to go out there with confidence and be who they are. So
for these freshmen and for the players that are even younger in the middle school system that are working, you're a role model, and you like it or not, like you're the program leading scorer you're going to be. You're a role model. That's just the thing that you have to live with. What's it been like for you to, understand that you're a role model, that people are watching you, that people want to be where you are when they grow up?
I kind of want to leave like a positive outlook. I don't know. I just always do things with a smile. I say something positive about everything. It could be like the worst loss, and I'm like, but we did this good. And I work with the youth a lot, and so they all look up to me. I know a lot of the younger kids, they're all saying they want to be like me. They all wear headbands like me, so it means a lot to be a role model to my school.
I mean, what was it like the first time you saw like a little girl wear the headband like you, your signature look, or try to say, I want to be like you? What was that like for you to realize that was a reality, that you're someone that people want to be like?
It felt awesome. I was like, "You're wearing a headband? What?" And they're like, "Yeah, because you wear headbands." So it feels really good to have that kind of, I don't know, impact on people.
We also have to talk about the impact you're having on your sister, who is definitely a big member of this team. And Alyssa, what's that like to have that relationship on the court and to be able to have that dynamic with someone else that is obviously you see every day? What's that been like for you?
I feel like it's been good. Sometimes we get along. We gotten a lot closer since basketball season. It's kind of made us, I don't know, talk a lot more. Usually I'll go to my room, she'll go into hers, and we don't really talk. But I'm definitely harder on her than I am anybody else on the team. So I'm glad she's finally stepping up. She's realizing, like, this is my senior year. I want to play for you. I want your senior year to be the best. And she's told me that. So it means a lot having her step up and be that player that I know she can be. And just, yeah.
In what ways are you two similar, and in what ways are you two different?
We're similar. We both like animals. And she does like her sports, but we're different. And I'm an everydayer, and I want to work out this day and then take 3 days off to bake and then work out another day. So we're different there.
To bake, that's fun. What does she bake?
She likes baking. She bakes cookies, cakes, anything you can think of, really. But she's really good with her chocolate chip cookies.
Are you a baker at all?
No, I would burn stuff.
Don't touch the stove. What are some of your hidden talents? We know how talented you are on the court. What are some of your talents outside of sports that you think are hidden talents for you?
I don't really know if I have any. I usually just do a lot of sports.
The sports.
I really can't think of any off the top of my head.
That's fine. You're gonna make a living in that. Let's talk about your future when you graduate Southern and you go to achieve your goals that you want to see yourself out of life. What are some of your future goals outside of high school that you're striving for?
I want to be a veterinarian, so that's one of my biggest goals. And I know vet school is super competitive, so that's kind of a goal that I've always had since I was, I think, 8 years old. I want to graduate, get into vet school, and become a vet. That's one of my biggest dreams.
What made you passionate about being a vet? What kind of things drew you to loving animals the way you do, obviously, and wanting to be a veterinarian?
I think just living out in the country, being around animals, my family, my parents, they got me my first bunny whenever I was, I think, 6 years old. And that rabbit kind of, I don't know, it made me love animals so much. Like, I was so close to that rabbit. And it's been with me since I think I was 16 when it finally died. So I was super close to animals from there on out.
Do you have like a favorite animal?
I'd say probably dogs.
Okay, now if you could have one animal as a pet, like it didn't matter if it had forget if it's wild or not, doesn't matter. You can just have any animal as a pet. What animal do you think you'd want?
I say those koalas are super cute. The koala bears.
Koala bears. Yes, I love it.
It's different, but
it's the question everyone wants to know from outside of Southern, of course, is basketball going to stay as a future goal? Is there basketball outside of high school? What's going on with you there?
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking of playing at the next level. I'm not really sure where I want to go, though. I'm kind of leaning towards Mount Union, but I don't know. It's just going to be on the air until probably after the season. I'll decide where I want to go for sure.
Hey, you gotta make us a promise that when you make that decision, you come on YSN and you make it live on the show, all right?
Right.
All right. When you think about like where you want to go, though, and you're looking at all these programs and you're trying to make that decision, what are you looking for in a program? What kind of things can a coach or a program do to say, this is where Ashley Schroeder would feel comfortable putting herself as a basketball player?
I'm kind of looking for like that tight-knit group. Like, I looked at Mount Union, and they have a lot of teammates that are like super close with each other, and I kind of like that. I like tight-knit groups. I like having a lot of energy, benches energy. That stuff means a lot to me. It's just like the little things.
They have
that
a
kind of draw me in.
handful of local talent too. Mount Union is not shy from recruiting in the Youngstown area, so you'd be playing with
Right.
some YSN alums, which would be great. And whatever decision you make, Ashley, we wish you the best of luck. Before we let you go, want to give you the chance to thank your support system, the people in your life that you wouldn't be able to do this without. Whoever you think deserves a shout out, I want to give you the time to do so.
Yeah, I want to thank my mom and dad for sure. Without my mom, I'd be not where I'm at today. She's the one that lets me go out to the school for hours. My dad too, he lets me go out, and she's been there through it all. My dad, he's always recording my games, filming every game for me. I'm able to come home, watch that every night. I wouldn't be the athlete I am without him. And also coach. Without coach, obviously, I'd be just another girl, honestly. He's kind of made me the person I am. I'm this crazy basketball player now that everybody knows. So I want to thank those three people. They mean the most to me.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Everybody knows you're a big name in the sport. We thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We wish you the best of luck the rest of your senior season, and we can't wait to see you again real soon.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
That was Ashley Schroeds from Southern Local, the very, very soon-to-be program leader in career points. Very, very close. 4 points away, Ashley Schroeds is, and their next game will now be Monday, considering, assuming I should say that they have the illness that's going around the school right now at Southern Local taken care of by Monday. Hopefully they will, because Monday they are scheduled to play Lisbon at home. So that is their next scheduled game. Reminder that tonight's game against East Palestine has been canceled. So no Southern versus EP game tonight. So Ashley will have to wait until at least Monday. We hope it's Monday for sure. 4 points away. Should be a fun one. Let's go into the scoreboard of the games that are happening tonight. The scoreboard, once again, brought to you by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. We were on Wednesday. We recapped Wednesday. Let's go ahead and shoot to tonight, which is December 14th, 2023. And we'll start with the NE8 matchup in Poland as Gerard goes to the Fieldhouse in Poland for an NE8 matchup. Poland 1-0 in the league after their win over Hubbard on Monday. And when you watch Poland basketball develop over the season, Nick Blanche is always going to have a defense that forces turnovers. It's just going to happen. The way that the style he teaches, they trap a lot. They put a lot of pressure on you. You're going to rush stuff. You're going to make passes you don't normally make. And you're going to turn the ball over. And that's something that, you can't avoid to try to limit. And when you play defense like that, you're going to always be in games. And if they can just find ways to consistently score, they've had up offensive days this year. They've had a couple of offensive games where they just haven't been quite there. The Champion game, it was there for a little bit, but the fourth quarter when they lost to Champion, the offense went away. And then, of course, that Boardman game, the Boardman defense was able to really control the Bulldogs offensively. And you got to stay away from those things like that. The one thing Poland will give up on defense, because they trap, because they take chances, they'll give up some open looks. They'll give up your 3-pointers every now and then. So if you hit those shots, you're gonna have a chance, which is what Champion did, and it's what Boardman did in those two games that they lost. But now you go into the league and you look at the NE8 around the world, around the NE8 around the league, and you'll look at it and you go, well, everybody's kind of in the same boat Poland is, because everyone lost players that really made them contenders last year. You look at this Gerard team, no more Ali Durkin, no more Siesha Triplet, no more of the older Melina Melito. Now they have Mia Melito, who is still a threat for sure. But a lot of those players that were the type of players that made them able to beat Poland last year, not there on the floor anymore. And then you look at, Struthers, they lost Chloe Nieder, and you look at Jefferson went out of the league, of course. You look at Lakeview, they're young. South Range, they're defensive oriented. They're not scoring really well right now. So you look at the NE8 and you go, I think the timing might be still okay for Poland to figure things out a little bit. Gerard's going to have to come in, and they're going to have to use their speed in this game. I'm at this game, so I've been doing some prep work on it. And when I watched Gerard on film, they're a fast team. It's kind of like their football team. That's the thing I was always saying about their football team. They're probably the fastest team in the league on the football field because they had so many track stars that were running the floor, running the field. And now you look at this basketball team with Gerard, their speed is still a threat. It was last year with CH Triplet, who was a track star in her own right. Like, that was one of Gerard's bread and butters. Like, can we push the tempo? Can we run and get players like Triplet, like Melito out in space in transition? This year is the same thing for Gerard. When they're going good, they're running the floor. They're running, they're playing fast. If you slow them down and make them execute in the half court, then that's when they trip up. So Gerard needs to run this floor. And I think they can. I think, against Poland, who lost one of their best, athletes as far as speed goes last year to graduation in Ariana Daniels, they lose a little bit of their speed. They still have some pretty fast girls on their team. Eliana Thompson can definitely run. Kylie Hudrin can definitely run. But, you don't have some of the premier runners from last year's team. So if Gerard is able to push the tempo, that's going to be something to watch. But it's going to be hard against this defense because they slow you down and they do the full court press and they make you go through a lot of bodies to get in transition. Poland's got to shoot well. They have the shooters. They have Eliana Thompson, who can shoot the lights out of the gym. Kylie Hudrin can shoot. Mary Brandt can definitely shoot. They got to hit their shots when they get them because their offense so far is actually doing a pretty good job of getting good looks. They're executing these sets really well. They're getting good looks. They just got to knock them down, and that'll come. That'll come with confidence. I think Coach Blanche is a coach that always will give his shooters the green light. We saw it time and time again with players like Connie Kugris, players like Morgan Kluchar. I was blanking on her first name for a minute. It's been a while. But players like that who had the green light to shoot, Kluchar in the mid range, Kugris in the three, he gives his players, hey, where you're shooting the ball, where you shoot well, go shoot. And when they have the green light, they're good to go. And I think there are several players in the Bulldogs lineup that definitely have the green light. We saw Ali Grope have a big day on Monday against Hubbard. They need that to continue as well. One of their senior leaders. So that's kind of the preview of that game. Poland versus Gerard, second game of the year in the NE8 slate in Poland. Gerard coming off that big win over South Range where their defense only allowed 19 points. So we'll see if they can continue that. Jackson Milton is hot. They're on a 2-game winning streak, but they're going to be going into an angry gym because Western Reserve was so close at beating Springfield on, Monday. 42-41, they fell to the Tigers, and they're angry. But this Jackson Milton team, I like what they're putting together. They're young. They're not gonna win every game. That's just the reality because they're freshmen and they're gonna make freshman mistakes. But I like what I'm seeing from them. They rebound really well. They're gonna need that tonight because I think one of the things that really impressed me about Western Reserve on Monday was their post play from Lisa Eichert and Izzy Morrow, and even Olivia Hughes got in there, got plenty of rebounds. They really actually did pretty well inside. So Jackson Milton's going to have to counter that. They have some guard play that is really, really good. They can shoot when they get hot. They're streaky. So you never know what's going to happen, but they're going to be going into a very tough environment. Western Reserve has a student section that supports their girls team more than a lot of other teams in the area. And they also are just angry. They're angry that they lost against Springfield. They're angry that they got so close and they didn't win. So it's always tough to play a team after a game like that. We'll see how they respond in Western Reserve. Latonia going to Lisbon tonight in the EOAC. Also in the EOAC, Columbiana going to Valley Christian. We got Crestview making the trip to Brookfield. Garrettsville Garfield looking for the first win of the season. They go to Camel. Hubbard going to Niles. Niles with a big win over Lakeview on Monday, so they're trying to go for 2 in a row in the NE8. Champion and LeBray. This one's huge in the conference. This is at LeBray. So for your schedulers, this was originally going to be at Champion. They have moved it. Champion has a function going on in the school. So they have moved this game to LeBray. It's a schedule change. So if you're looking at one of the schedules that was released before the season started, this one is going to be at LeBray tonight. And both teams undefeated in the conference. You know, I know Crestvew's there, and I know Crestvew's the favorite right now. But whoever wins this game is going to be the top contender to compete the most against Crestview. I think these are two really good teams going at it, and they do things in a little bit different ways. You know, LeBray can shoot, but they're more of a slashing team, and Champion wants to shoot the lights out of the gym. They have shooters all over the floor. You know, Bella Meyer can shoot, Caldwell can shoot, Kayla Haney can shoot, Warzela can drive. They're the shooters. They are the shooters of the league. So shooter's gonna shoot. We'll see what Champion can do on the road against LeBray. Big opportunity for the Vikings to make a name for themselves in the league. Liberty traveling to Newton Falls tonight. We have Lowville coming into town to play Springfield. So, by the way, that's John Mattesi's home school. You know, he went to Lowville, and he saw a lot of girls basketball at Lowville when his dad was the coach there. So always a little bit nice when I'm sure nice feeling when he can see that program come into his gym as the Tigers looking to continue their quest for a repeat in the MVAC. How about this one? Mineral Ridge, undefeated going into Cheney tonight. This is a big test for the Rams, probably their biggest test of the season so far. And we'll see what they can do. They've had so many players that have been scoring. Ava Hewlett been leading them, but they also have Sullivan Sandy, who's been in double figures a lot. Johnny Gilbert in double figures a lot. Lily Marilillo in double figures a lot. Even Kelsey Dye can get into double figures. So they have a lot of offensive weapons. They're going to be hard to stop. Cheney, of course, has the freshman phenom in Alyssa Brown, who's been just tearing things up on the floor. And she's going to be hard to deal with. But then outside of that, it's like, you know, it's a tale of two teams, right? Because you have Middle Ridge that has a little bit of spread out offense, but no one that's lighting up the score table like crazy. And then you have Cheney, who has, you know, Alyssa Brown, who is lighting up the scoreboard like crazy. But you don't have anyone else averaging double figures for Cheney there either. So we're going to see what it goes down in Cheney. Going to be a fun one between the Rams and the Cowgirls. Next up, we have Pymatuning Valley traveling to Wyndham in the Bombers hangar. Pine Valley looking for a bounce-back win after their loss on Monday. We go over to McDonald playing host to Sebring tonight. Struthers travels to South Range. The Raiders looking to bounce back and get their first NE victory of the season. Toronto goes to Edison. Wellsville goes to United as the Eagles try to bounce back from their loss to Southern Local. This Jefferson and Andrews Osborne game actually happened last night. Jefferson got the win 41-18 in that game. And then Cardinal Mooney will travel to Warren Harding tonight for the girls' game over there. One boys game tonight. It is Beaver Local hosting Union Local in the Beaver Dome down there. So those are your games for the night. Let's get on to the spreadsheet and see what announcers will be where and what games you'll be able to find on the network tonight. So we'll start with Gerard at Poland. I will be there for the call of that one. You have Zach Svensson going to be in Niles, as Hubbard travels to Niles. Quinn will be handling the Lisbon game as Latonia comes to Lisbon. You have Michael Janaki on the call as Lowville travels to Springfield. Ian O'Brien, he will have the game between Middle Ridge and Cheney. We have the Wyndham YouTube page covering Pymatuning Valley and Wyndham. DJ Oakley will be in South Range for Struthers in South Range. Chris Sigler will be in United for Wellsville in United. And then Ty Bartell will be on the call for Champion in LeBray. We go down. Matt Porter will also be calling a game. He'll be at McDonald for Sebring versus McDonald. Boys basketball, Gary Burton and Scott Rogers will be in Beaver Local for that one as well. So we have you covered throughout the night. Girls basketball, boys basketball, all of it can be found at ysnlive.com. Going to be a fun night of basketball, and we have a couple of big matchups that will probably pay a lot of attention to the league standings through the rest of the season. I'm talking that LeBray and Champion game for sure. That's going to be a game that that echoes through the rest of the MVAC season. The winner of tonight is going to have a much easier time trying to fight for a championship than the loser, because I don't think either team is going to have an easy time beating Crestview twice. So you would love to go into that Crestview matchup knowing that a split could share the league. And the only way you do that is if you take care of business tonight and you go into that matchup with Crestview undefeated. Champions matchup with Crestview is right around the corner. That's going down after Christmas, during Christmas break. I believe it's the 28th. Thursday the 28th, Champion will play Crestview. And then LeBray's got them too. So whoever wins tonight going to be in a good spot to compete with the Rebels. The loser of tonight, they're not out of it, but they would have to, one, beat the winner of tonight's game again, beat them and split with them. And then they'd also have to either beat Crestview twice or hope that the winner of tonight's game also beats Crestview so they can get into that championship kind of circle. So it's going to be an important one in LeBray. Ty Bartel will be on the call for that, and he'll be one of many announcers out and about tonight for YSN's coverage. This has been an episode of Running Point brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We thank you so much for tuning in today. We'll be